Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time I'm going to be taking my Samsung S10 Plus this iPega Red Knight retractable controller, sticking them together, and you've got a Retrogaming Behemoth. This is absolutely fantastic. I've been looking for something like this for so many years, something that just works out the box, and this really does. So we're going to be having a look at it today. We'll have a look at the controller. We'll be running some emulators and playing some games on it just to see just how damn good this flipping controller is. It's fantastic and I recommend it wholeheartedly. So sit back, relax, let's get to it. Okay, so first of all then, I wanted to show you this fantastic controller. So this is the iPega Red Knight retractable controller. Now I got this chap off eBay, sorry, Amazon rather, this one, although there are versions up on eBay. This is the upgraded one, so do make sure you get the upgraded one. But this is the Red Knight retractable controller. It comes in at about $20 or £20 in the UK. It comes recommended, this is what you get. So this is the actual controller. Now it charges via micro USB, sadly not USB-C, but it's micro USB, and it has a little on-off switch there, and it pulls right out there, so it'll even fit like iPad mini size, so miniature tablets, as well as, most importantly for me, my Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus, which is a beast of a phone. So this phone is, in fact, you know, it's 6.2 inches across, and I've got it in a case. Now this actually fits. It fits into the iPega in the case. So you got, it's fantastic. That's pretty much full tilt. It won't go much bigger than that. So if you've got a phone which is 6.4 inch screen, you're going to be struggling a little bit to get it actually in picture, as it were, into the controller. But anything S10 and down, I think you'll be good to go. All right, so there we are, and all you do, you switch it on down the bottom there, like that. Hit the home button, so the keyboards come up in red, like so, and then you just move your way to your emulators, and off you go. So the first one I'm going to try will be the Atari 2600 emulator. So if I load, as you can see, it's already picking up the joypad, and I will try my best to avoid any reflection. If I just pop in a recent game, I do love Berserk. Oh, that's a bit loud, isn't it? I do love the Atari 2600. I was back, you know, I'm of an age when we actually played this one back in the day, and it was great. So this will run, I've not needed to do any extra setting up with this, straight out the box. And this is another reason why I love the iPega so much, is that straight out the box it's good. It you know, it didn't need any programming. It was all set to go basically, which is fantastic. The last thing you want to do is be mucking around, you know, trying to get the controller, mapping keys and things like that. I have had to do that once, and that was just for the to get the Gamecube running. I had to map the keys on that one, but apart from that, it's been fine. So this is the first emulator. Now, between each one, I'm going to just sort of pause. I'll get them all set up, because it does take a little bit of time to move from program to program, and I'll make sure that the lighting is all good as well. So that's the first one we're going to look at anyway, which is the Atari 2600. Okay, so the second emulator we're going to be having a look at is the PlayStation. So this is EPSX-E 2.0, and this is a great little PlayStation emulator. I absolutely loved the PlayStation back in the day. Now, I've not got many games for it, but if we just have a little look at, say, Tekken 3, I always remember loving this game at the time. So let's have a little look at this one, shall we? Now, I don't know about you, but when I would play these games, I'd find a move that worked, and then I'd spam the hell out of it. However, I got to admit, I'm on the ropes here, guys. I'm on the ropes. Oh, I can't. It's one round each. We're literally neck and neck. Is this going to work till the end? Is it going to? Oh, one more hit, I reckon we'll do it. Now if I turn the volume up a little bit on this one, you'll notice it's just fantastically, the sound is dead accurate. As you can see, this gets you back, doesn't it? Might be quite cool to play this one with headphones on, but the S10's got such fantastic speakers on it anyway. Things like emulators just run perfectly, and there's no visible slowdown whatsoever on this. This is just fantastic. So it's good stuff, isn't it? It's good stuff. So that's the PlayStation. So the next one we're going to be having a look at is the Megadrive. So if I just load in a recent game, I've been playing a bit of Sonic. Shall we continue? Yeah, we'll continue. Okay. Who's having a nostalgia hit now? How great is this, eh? Now, as you see, there's no delay whatsoever. So in some Bluetooth, with some Bluetooth controllers, you get some delay, but you're just not getting it on this. So I think I've had so many controllers through my hands over the years looking for this sort of solution. And finally, this is maybe the fourth controller that I've had. Finally, I've found something that I feel does the job justice, and well, I think it's fantastic. I really, really do. And for the money, it's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal for the money. You cannot beat this for value. I know there are some higher rated Android controllers out there, but although this one does work for iPhone as well. Oh, this is so hard. I'm playing it through the viewfinder of my normal phones. From my older phone, I should say, because the S10 is my daily driver, and I just love it as a phone. It's certainly a great little phone, and what a big improvement over my old S8. Oh, here we go. We'll come back. Will I hit the... Yeah, there we go. Got the bonus level as well. How cool is this? It is just spot on, perfect emulation in every way. I remember spending hours on this one trying to get the crystal. Back in the day, in my store, I used to sell Mega Drives, and it would come with Sonic packed in, and we would have this one on display. We would have this one on display and running in the window, and we used to sell lots of these, particularly in the run-up to Christmas, as you might imagine. There we are. I didn't get the crystal this time, but anyway, you get the idea. The Mega Drive plays perfectly with the iPega and the S10. Okay, so we're going to be going for something a little bit beefier this time. We're going to have the Nintendo 64. So I've been playing a game called 1080 Degrees Snowboarding. I don't know if you ever come across that one. It's great fun. It is quite tough though. Now the trick is to try and keep, in this particular one, is to try and keep up with your opponent there and try not to fall over. Does this bring you back? This is the N64. This is it in all its glory, and it is glorious. I've been playing a bit of GoldenEye. Oh, that was so good, I can tell you. It's just great. This is one of those ones, something like GoldenEye is one of those games where potentially it might be worth you remapping the controls. However, this one just works great out the box, like so many of them. And that's why I just love this iPega, because you don't need to be mucking around with sorting the controls out. It just seems to work. And that's all we want, isn't it? We want things to be easy. You know, I've been playing this one for quite a while now. I've still yet to beat the guy. Ugh, And there you go, that might be why. So I've got my finger on the trigger. Oh dear. I think more practice is required, don't you? Anyway, of the few hundred N64 games that came out, you can pretty much get them all these days. Obviously, I'm not allowed to tell you exactly where to find your ROMs. However, Google is your friend. Just type in whatever system you're looking for, Megadrive, N64, anything you like, and type in the name of the game with the ROM or the name of the system with ROMs on the end, and you'll find various sites where you can download these directly to your phone. So that's the N64, and it does come recommended. So the emulator I'm using for this one is a Mame 64, so that's the one I'm using. So the next one we've got is the Gameboy Color emulator. So let's just have a look at this one here, which is 1942. So I was a real fan of the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color when they came out, and in fact the Game Boy Advance, I just love them all, in fact. And the Switch is pretty much it's the best of both worlds now. You've got console quality gaming on the go, and I absolutely love my Switch, but I do have a soft spot. So this is first of all Game Boy Color games. So who remembers 1942? That was the classic World War shooter, wasn't it? Oh, here we go, here we go. This one's better with the old the joystick, I was going to say. Give me another go, come on. This was brilliant in the arcade, wasn't it? And you could do the loop like that. Power up. Oh, good stuff. I got to admit, this particular game's starting to look its age, isn't it? But there are some really good ones. Have you ever played Shantae? That's a fantastic Game Boy Color game. The graphics on it are fantastic. Okay, so I've gone back out of the emulator, gone back into my Game Boy folder, and I'm just calling up one that I used to play as a kid called Balderdash. I'm sure you've all heard of this particular game. It's a cracker. Also quite difficult. So I'm sure you know the objective of this game. You have to sort of collect the crystals without letting the boulders drop on your head and killing you. There we go, you get the idea. And slowly work your way through the maze. I remember this so well. It was great fun, wasn't it? Oh, that was lucky, wasn't it? Doing all right, doing all right. This is the best I've done. Looks like the entrance. I think I've done pretty good there. I've got 10 crystals. How many did I think that was probably the whole for that level. Just like the original Game Boy. Just like it. So that's that one. I'll pause there. Okay, so the next emulator is by far one of my absolute favourites, probably my favourite on the system, and that's the PP SSPP, and it's the PSP emulator basically. So what I think we'll do, just to give you a little idea of the speed of this one, I'll call up one of my favourite games on the PSP, which was Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast. Now this particular version of Outrun was super quick, and it comes highly recommended. I play this one with my boy all the time, and it is just great. So we'll have a quick blast on it and see how we get on. And I think this will be a good little test of the emulators and the the phone running something a little bit beefier, something a little bit harder to emulate, perhaps, you know, rather than just these simple. I mean, anything. Most phones are going to be able to emulate a Game Boy, aren't they? But this is something a bit more advanced, so we'll see how it gets on. Seems to be moving at a super quick pace, doesn't it? Oh dear, I'm a bit out of practice. But as you can see, it's real cool. Now, do you spot that thing along the top? It was just there. It just sort of said the frame rate was a little bit choppy, and it was suggesting to use frame skip. I didn't see any choppiness whatsoever. I think it's absolutely fine for what I could see. So I don't know what they're going on about there. Great stuff, isn't it? And as I said, with the iPega controller, you can either use the stick, which is I'm doing, because this basically, the layout of the iPega is a PSP, so a PlayStation Vita at least. So you could either do like I do, or you could just use these. So anyway, that is the PSP. Next one we're going to have a look at is another one which is sort of high end, and this is going to be the Gamecube. So we're going to have a look to see how it gets on emulating a Gamecube game. I'm doing my best with the reflection here, but it's not easy to get quite the right angle. Shooting this one during the day, this video, so it's a little tough, but here we are. Yeah. Capcom versus SNK. Now, with the Gamecube games that I've played, this doesn't sound too bad, but I have had a bit of sound issue, so I need to tinker it a little bit. And this is one of the ones where I actually had to remap the keys, but it didn't take very long, but then it was done. Right. So this is a pretty cool game in its day, Capcom versus SNK. So let's have a go then. Let's see how it works, how it plays. Yeah, you hear that? That was a little bit. Now that's not uncommon. On screen it plays absolutely fine. It's just sound issues. So I think they call that interlacing. So that might be something which is going to require a little bit of extra work on that, just to get it right. But I've only just dipped my toe into GameCube emulation, and the Dolphin emulator does GameCube and Wii. So maybe what I'll do, I'll wait until I've got this properly finessed, and we'll possibly do that in a follow-up video if you fancy it. And I'll cover some of the other emulators that I've got as well, like the Mame emulator and Retroarch as well, which is another one. In fact, we'll have a little look at Retroarch now while I'm here. So let's just pause it again. Okay, so I've not really touched on Retroarch much. However, it is one of those emulators which completely free to download, and it is full of emulators. It emulates every system pretty much under the sun. I find with Retroarch it's actually best when it emulates the Gameboy Advance. So let's have a little look at that. Who remembers Bubble Bobble? So Bubble Bobble was one of those games that I used to play in the arcade back in the day and absolutely love. So let's just have a little look at that. Not sure how quick I can get into a game for you. Should we turn it up? I love the music on this. I absolutely love Bubble Bobble music. Here we go. So the aim was to get to the 100th level. Here we go. Oh, this brings it back. Here we go. I got the swing of it now. Here we go. Who remembers playing this one? It was a great game, wasn't it? Now this is the Game Boy Advance version of an old arcade game, so it's hardly showing off the Game Boy Advance to its full capacity. However, we know what the Game Boy Advance is capable of. Oh dear. Let me get that sweetie. I think that gives me, is that rapid fire or something like that? I highly recommend this game. If you've never tried it, oh, some extra lives there. Extend is what I'm trying to spell out. Let's go down. Here we go. Yeah, the sweeties I think give you a little power up. So this is the Game Boy Advance running absolutely pixel perfect. Exactly what you'd expect, to be honest. The Game Boy Advance is there's a dozen emulators on the App Store. However, I have to say, as I said, they're the ones I've tried, the free ones, have been a bit advertising heavy. So I tend to play the Game Boy Advance now through Retroarch, which possibly will cover as a standalone video maybe next time for the systems that we've not been able to cover. Here we go in this video. There we are. So anyway, that's the Game Boy Advance. Yeah. This is the Drastic DS emulator. So as you can see, I've turned my Samsung around the other way, and we've basically got an old Nintendo DS to play with. So let's have a little look. Load a new game. So Sonic All-Stars. Yeah, let's start the game here. So I don't know if you remember, but Sonic All-Stars was a bit like the Sega version of Mario Kart, really, I guess is the nearest way to describe it, except it's got all the Sonic characters that we know and love. So and it's a pretty good racer, as I recall. I remember owning this one back in the day. Let's see how quickly we can get into actual gameplay. It's a bit loud, isn't it? Turn it down a bit. Yes. Now this one does also play sideways on as well, but I think this is more authentic playing it this way around because it's more like a traditional DS, Nintendo DS. Here we go then. 3, 2, 1. Alright, here we go. Let's try some of this stick, I think. This is better than the keyboard. Oh, what have I done? I've swapped screens. I'm now playing on the bottom. Oh no, I'm already lost. So that's weird. I've swapped the screens around. I think that must be in the settings. I think this one should be the top screen, but it doesn't matter. It's whatever you're familiar with. Oh, that's good, isn't it? This is proper Sonic racing, this, isn't it? So you get to see where you are. I'm woefully behind, I'm afraid. Of course, you could get, because the DS originally used a stylus, of course, but you can get a little rubber-ended stylus for this and just use that, because one of my all-time favourite games for the DS was Elite Beat Agents. It was like a rhythm game, and it was just brilliant. Worth the price of the DS alone. And if you've never played Elite Beat Agents, it's one to get. It's just like a manga game. It's fantastic. Anyway, this is it. Look, a Nintendo DS emulated game running on your Android phone. How cool is this? Pretty darn good, eh? Oh, so good, so good. And this is why the Samsung S10 is a Retrogaming Behemoth. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will put a link to the iPega controller down in the description below. But as I said, I got mine real cheaply off Amazon. It's like $20 stroke £20, so not expensive at all, and it just works straight out of the box, which is fantastic. So if you have enjoyed this, do please leave a comment below, maybe hit the like button, and do consider subscribing, because I do intend covering a bit more retro game coverage on my channel going forward. I would like to see how the iPega handles things like Retroarch and the Mame emulators and some of the other systems that I've not really touched yet. The Wii, for example, I think it can do wireless Wiimote control. There's just so much to explore in this, and that we could do in a follow-up video. So until next time then, thanks once again for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.